Hi guys, it's Julian from CarBuyer, and look what I have beside me here. It's the all-new Honda Civic. Now, there's no one in Singapore who doesn't know what a Honda Civic is, and that's because there's been 11 generations of this car already. So instead of telling you what a Honda Civic is, why don't I show you what the Civic has to offer right here in Singapore. Now, this being a Honda, the engine is of course super important, and you've got a 1.5 litre turbo here, and it's hooked up to a continuously variable transmission. Now, having driven this car a little bit, I can tell you that it is actually quite peppy, but pretty economical as well. On paper, you should be getting 6.4 litres per 100 kilometers. There's no hybrid system or anything fancy here, so it's VS neutral, so no pollution tax, but no rebate either. But what is interesting is that this engine has been kind of custom tuned for the Singapore market. What that means is it makes 129 horsepower, which lets the Civic sneak into the category A COE system, and that should save you a whole bunch of money compared to if you had to buy a Cat B COE for this car. Okay, here we are on the Civic. First thing you notice is just how minimalist and clean everything is. I really like these invisible aircon vents here. The aircon vents are actually here and you can point them around, but just look at how neat everything is. And that's a very Honda Civic thing, because you can just jump into the car and figure out straight away where everything is and how to work it all. I really like actually these aircon controls, just 3 knobs, couple of buttons, no futzing around with menus to change the temperature and stuff like that. Everything is at your fingertips. You can almost work it with your eyes closed. I should talk about this screen as well. Now, this interface should be familiar to anyone who's driven a Honda recently. So we last saw it in the new Jazz, for example. What's interesting is that you don't need cables anymore. You have wireless charging here. You do have 2 USB ports, but you also have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. So my colleague's phone is linked up here. I could probably go into his system and read his messages if I want. Yeah, but that's all very convenient. This display is also semi-digital, so the speedometer is an old-school analog instrument which people like me like, but on the left-hand side it is digital, and you can customize to some extent what you want to see in front of you. So all in all, I think it's the right mix of digital and analog. I think this is the kind of car that you can drive day in, day out, and just relax and not have to worry about what goes where and how to work all the various systems. Now, I just want to show you the back seats real quick. Now, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, I'm not even the tallest guy in the office, but I do have a decent amount of headroom back here. And this Civic actually has a slightly longer wheelbase than the previous one, so there actually is quite a lot of legroom back here. I mean, if I stretch out my feet under the seat, I still have loads of space between my knees and the back of this seat here. There's aircon vents, but no USB charging ports. Other than that though, I think if you are using a car for family duties, and lots of people do with a Civic, I don't think you'll be struggling for space back here. Okay, finally, just want to show you a couple of new safety features. Now, while we're looking at the new Civic, the Civic is looking out at the world in front of it because it has some high-res cameras up here. And that gives it some new features. There's an obstacle detection system, for example. So if there's something it thinks you're going to crash into, it can actually brake for you. And it does enable adaptive cruise control as well. So if there's a car in front of you, you can kind of set your speed and it locks onto the speed of the car ahead of you. And you can set the gap automatically with a button right here. There is lane keep assist, so the Civic can kind of steer itself gently to keep you safely within the lane. And of course, this being a Honda, it does have something of a Honda trademark, which is the blind spot camera. That's very safe and I think very worth having. Well, that's our quick look at the new Honda Civic. If you want the full details, please log on to carbuyer.com.sg and read our full review. We'll post a link somewhere. Meanwhile, please don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, follow us and do subscribe. Until next time, see you again.